Hello dear viewers, I am Masood Khan. Welcome you to watch Branding Bangladesh program. This program particularly we launched it. We have done one show before. This is our second show so far, and we are going to invite different ambassadors, high commissioners, global leaders in this program. They will talk about Bangladesh's development and in different sector Bangladesh is heading towards, especially the RMG, ready-made garments export. Bangladesh is second or number one country, and also in a different sector Bangladesh is heading towards, especially ready-made garments, and then again our medicine export. Bangladesh is doing very well. Bangladesh's infrastructure development, Bangladesh's miracle development has done so far last few years, you might see. And also we have done some other miracle development over the time. So we are organizing this program, Branding Bangladesh. The overseas world has to know much about Bangladesh's development. And today we have invited His Excellency the Ambassador of Philippines. Hello Excellency, how are you?
Hello my friend, it's so nice to be talking to you again.
Thank you so much. So this is a Branding Bangladesh program, you know. We are talking in this program especially to ambassadors, high commissioners and also global leaders about Bangladesh's development and what we can do country to country, like Philippines, Bangladesh. We bilateral relations and what we can do next. So if you talk about our Branding Bangladesh program first.
Well, in terms of development, I think Bangladesh and the Philippines, they have something in common. Bangladesh and the Philippines, we are both gearing towards development. And the idea of branding is also very important to our country. We all know that branding is what makes our country known in the world. And that is what we are trying to strive for, that something might be mentioned and then that reminds them of our country. Yes. And in the Philippines, we are doing our best to have Branding Philippines as well.
That is fantastic experience because both the country, we are developing country. And you know, Bangladesh is, our government has a vision. By 2021, Bangladesh will become a developing country, and 2041, Bangladesh will become a developed country. So we have, our government has got a very right vision. And if you could see, if you visit out of Dhaka, you might see the development project happening over the time. It's a miracle. So how do you see Bangladesh's development, first of all?
Well, my friend, I have to let you know that I've been here almost 5 years.
Absolutely.
And honestly, in the last 5 years that I've been here, I have been very much impressed with the development that Bangladesh has been able to present to the world. I came to Bangladesh with the impression, old impression about the difficulties of this country. And way back 5 years ago, I was already amazed that the concept of Bangladesh being underdeveloped was wrong. And now, even more so after 5 years, I was even warning my colleagues in the Philippines that if we do not shape up, Bangladesh will catch up with us.
So true, Excellency. So my next question is, Philippines and Bangladesh, you know, we have similar challenges. And what opportunities we have which we can explore between the countries, Philippines and Bangladesh, especially trade opportunities, if you could tell about something about it.
The Philippines and Bangladesh have been friends since a few months after you became independent. The Philippines was one of the first countries to recognize Bangladesh. Unfortunately, our trade aspect has not developed as much as our political relations. And until now, we still need to have a greater development in this regard. But it's interesting that earlier you mentioned about garments and pharmaceuticals. And these two industries are the biggest in terms of imports of the Philippines from this country. And the way I see it, there are so many other areas of cooperation that we can have. Just at random, just because I was reading about these things, I was talking about your leather industry, and I'm so impressed about that because for a long time the Philippines was a leader in leather exports.
True.
In the 70s and 80s. Then somehow things were not so developed, and now I see that Bangladesh is developing so fast. Well, I have personally some items made in the country, leather goods, which I'm very proud to own. And I really can say that not only in this industry, but in many others as well, Bangladesh is going to go forward and be one of the real global players in the very near future.
Thank you, Excellency. You know, in UN peacekeeping mission, Bangladesh is a #1 or #2 contributing country in the world.
Yes.
So, in many areas, Bangladesh has done so far very good. And you are here almost more than 4 years in Bangladesh.
Almost 5.
Almost 5 years. So, it's a very good time for Bangladesh, and Bangladesh has become your second home undoubtedly. So, have you visited out of Dhaka?
Well, I have unfortunately been have visited not so many places. I've been to Cox's Bazar, I've been to Chittagong, been to Khulna, and a few other places around Dhaka. But before I go home to the Philippines, I hope to visit more places.
Wonderful, wonderful, Excellency. And we know that we can cooperate between these two countries, especially as you told me a minute before, that Philippines has got many sea beaches, you know. I mean, different islands you have. So, what we can cooperate, especially in the tourism development?
Well, tourism, I know that Bangladesh can develop even more. What I mean to say is that in connection with the tourist spots, it has not been maximized. I know that there are so many places in Bangladesh that should be visited, but somehow that has not been done. So if I may offer the Philippine experience, we have not been so very successful either in relation to some other ASEAN countries, but we're doing our best in promoting all these places. And I think in terms of the Philippines and Bangladesh, we can have a kind of a mutual cooperation.
True.
We can get in touch, and we can have some exchanges. And maybe I really would like to encourage Bangladesh under our cultural cooperation agreement, which was renewed this year, I mean last year, that we should increase more exchanges in terms of visits to these places. So we can introduce our tourist spots as well as your tourist spots to the Filipinos. And I think we can start with this thing this year.
With this note, Excellency, dear viewers, let's take a short break. We are coming back soon. Dear viewers, again, we welcome you to watch Branding Bangladesh program. Today, you have a very distinguished guest, Ambassador of Philippines. We are talking to Ambassador of Philippines. Yes, Excellency. We have talked about tourism development. We have talked about UN peacekeeping mission. We have talked about RMG development about Bangladesh, and what mutual cooperation, especially we are talking about the cultural cooperation between these two countries, which we have believed that we have huge room to cooperate between these two countries. So if you could tell more about the cultural exchange program.
The Philippines and Bangladesh share this kind of Asian spirit. We could have our differences, but I think our similarities are more significant than the minor differences there are between our two countries. And I believe that culturally we are of the same mental process. And I look forward to having more exchanges in terms of literature and the visual arts and the dramatic arts, which we have started earlier 2 years ago. We brought a choral group from the Philippines here, and we had a very successful show here, several shows, and also some painters. And the same thing, your ambassador in the Philippines has been active also in bringing some artists to the Philippines. I think with the signing last year of the extension of our cultural agreement, we can have even more activities that we can do together. You just walk from one corner to the next, you can have 2 or 3 stores selling Bangladeshi garments. And they are very well patronized in the Philippines. They are of very good quality and a very reasonable price. And I think in that regard, we are starting something which is very real in terms of not only trade, but also people-to-people connectivity.
Oh, it is very important.
Yes,
It is very important.
Because we are able to relate to Bangladesh. By the way, we have more than 500 Bangladeshis living in the Philippines.
Philippines also a country, you were exporting huge human resources to different countries. This is common interest you have. So what is your suggestion? What kind of human resource you can export? What is your suggestion about it?
We call them modern day heroes because they contribute a lot to the economy of the Philippines. And I'm not familiar with how much your own overseas workers are contributing to your economy.
Yeah.
But I know it's quite big also.
It's quite big, yes, of course.
And as of the moment, what the Philippines can do is to share its experience in
So
dealing
true.
with these workers abroad. Interestingly, just to let you know, workshop conference here about overseas employment. And one of my colleagues, a junior colleague of mine, who is familiar with overseas employment, was here to share his experience about how to manage, how to help our workers who are doing it abroad.
You know, almost 160 or 170 million people. It's a huge population country like Bangladesh. As per our land area, the population is huge, you know. For the young people of this country, they will drive this country, drive this nation ahead. So what is your suggestion? Or what is your impression about the young people of this country in particular and global scenario as well? What young can play vital role?
Personally, have my faith in young people. In fact, our own national hero, Dr. Rizal, said that the youth is the hope of the fatherland.
Absolutely.
The future of the country rests on the youth. And this, what you call a demographic sweet spot, or we talk about it as the young people. We have the same situation in the Philippines also. We have a lot of young people in the Philippines. I can speak for that because I have 5 children. And these people are actually the ones who will bring our country into the next generation, right? We will be left behind. And the idea of the youth being empowered is very strong on the part of the Philippine political system, that the young people have to be empowered because in the end, they are the ones who will inherit your country. And in Bangladesh, I could see how dynamic young people are, and I know that the role of the young is enshrined in the history of Bangladesh, going back to your 1971 Liberation War, the role of the youth, and until now it is still very very strong. And so I have the best wishes for the youth in Bangladesh, and I can see that they're doing their part in bringing Bangladesh over to the next generation.
Thank you, excellent. Thank you so much for your wonderful note. Dear viewers, let's take a short break. You're watching Branding Bangladesh program. We are coming back soon. Dear viewers, you're watching Branding Bangladesh program. We have invited today the Ambassador of Philippines. Hello, Ambassador. We talked about the young people of the country. So if they are not enough skilled, if they are not well educated, quality educated, they cannot play very right role in this society. So I believe, could you have a kind of note for the young people, how can they receive the quality education?
You're talking about you handling young people, but for me, you are one of the young people. You're too young to be.
Thank you. You too.
You're part of the young people you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about the qualifications of the skills of young people.
And also their moral education is pretty much important.
Oh, of course, yes. The moral education is something which is supposed to be taken care of by us,
Very
by me,
true, very true.
by the older generation. And I can see that in Bangladesh, that is properly taken care of. I think morally, you have the proper guidance from the elders. I think one issue that should come in here would be the actual skills, work skills that people have to have. In the Philippines, by the way, we have a government office which trains people for specific jobs.
Okay.
And not just academic background. Like here, I know you have so many universities, you have so many educational institutions, but in the Philippines, on top of that, we have special skills training.
That is very, very important.
Which is important because it spells the difference of your salary. I mean,
job-oriented education is pretty much important in the present world.
Yes.
Otherwise, a lot of young people will be unemployed in the society. Receive job-oriented education from now on. And especially the, we talk about just before, the moral education, ethical standard, that is pretty much important for the young people.
In the Philippines, we have what we call a pre-departure seminar for everybody who is supposed to go abroad.
Correct.
Through official channels, they are given a seminar on you know what to do when you're abroad, and they are also given a seminar on the particular country where they're going. Everybody who is abroad, every Filipino who is abroad, is in a sense an ambassador of the Philippines, and that is something also that should apply to all countries.
You see, development model, we can learn so much because we have not believed before that a country like Bangladesh can develop so quickly like this, being a citizen of the country.
Yes.
And you know, our Padma Bridge, this is a miracle, you know. And when World Bank taken back our government chief, our Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Honorable Sheikh Hasina, she said that we can do by our own finance. And they do it, middle of the way, this Padma Bridge is. So do you have any kind of remarks about Padma Bridge?
When it comes to development, in the end, it depends on the country. It's not, it doesn't depend on foreign donors or other countries.
So true.
It is basically the country's desire to develop, and everything else will follow. I don't know if you've been following the Philippines in the last few years. We've made a lot of significant changes and ways forward also in the Philippines. And you will note that we do these things because we decide to do these things, not because anybody else, any other country tells us to do it. And I think the same thing is here in Bangladesh. Bangladesh has I mean, to have developed a country, to have created a country.
Okay.
I can see that Bangladesh has the strength and the stamina to develop that country, which they developed out of whatever, not even nowhere, but you know, to make that thing.
Thank you so much for your great note about Bangladesh. Dear viewers, you are watching Branding Bangladesh program. Today we have invited Ambassador of Philippines, and he has said lots good about Bangladesh. And of course, what we can collaborate or cooperate between this country, Philippines and Bangladesh, especially the human resource development. That is again a huge issue, which we can collaborate between these two countries. And Bangladesh's development, Bangladesh's young people, Bangladesh's infrastructure development, and many other sectors Bangladesh is heading towards, which our Honorable Ambassador has rightly mentioned that Bangladesh is a big believer and Bangladesh is second home again. So dear viewers, thank you so much for watching Branding Bangladesh program, and we welcome you to watch our next program. Thank you so much.